Well, one day I'll have to win it back off you myself, to be honest. It's been a while since I've had it. Unlucky Shearer. Hello everybody, my name is Dan Roberts and this is Real Talk.
Hello there, it's nice to see you again. I'm Tim and you may recognise me from training videos such as ethical fundraising or how to make a compliant financial ask. Well, today though, I'm here in a slightly different capacity. Some of you may know I have a twin brother. So today I'm here to introduce you to my brother, one of the directors of REAL, Mr. Tom Ward. See you soon. Bye-bye. Tim and Dan, lovely to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too, man. It's been a while. Last time was the gala, I believe.
It was. Feels like a lifetime ago. But
yeah, we got that picture of me and you. We do genuinely look like a couple. I'll put it up somewhere for someone to see as well.
That's on my wall.
That's on your wall. It's just new screensaver.
I've took the photo of my children down, and it's you and me up on the wall there.
Oh, that's how it should be, mate. To be fair. So one of the things I want to try and focus on with you, Tom, is the fact it's just basically how you started in Real to where you are today, because that's the model that we all want to work towards. To be honest. So tell us your story. How long have you been in the industry for Real in total?
The industry as a whole, we're looking at about 13 years now.
Okay.
So it was 2012. I joined fundraising in a call centre.
Right.
So that was seems like a lifetime ago again. Stayed in the call centre for a few years, then joined face-to-face, had a bit of previous face-to-face experience in kind of direct sales and so on. So I was working for another agency, quite a large agency, as their regional manager in London. So I was responsible for about 35 teams, something like that. And I took a little step back at some point and thought, I love the charity sector. I love what it stands for. I love spending my working life sort of raising money for charity and seeing people's careers grow and things like that. But I really wanted a company that matched my values. So jumped on our old friend Google and had a little look through and just gave Real a call out of the blue. And it was John Barker that picked the phone up to me, and told him a little bit about me. And I found myself 2 or 3 days later sitting in an interview with James Davis, who was MD at the time, and Lewis. And they offered me a position as regional manager for London. At the time, they didn't have a London region. So
that was your responsibility to build.
Well, that was my first sort of goal and milestone was to build that up. So we built that up over the next kind of few weeks. Got up to 4, 5, 6 teams, something like that. And I was working under the national ops manager at the time, a chap called Olivier Gonzalez, a wonderful guy, really driven, motivated individual. I then went on to run national operations myself. After kind of a year and a half doing London. And then I took over the Real Ethical Marketing at the time. So I was running all the Doortodoor in the company. And then it was probably early 2019, late 2018, early 2019, I became a director of Real. So the onboarding director, kind of overseeing all of the training and all of the recruitment at the time, which was our in-house recruitment. And then from there, went on and opened up Real Jobs. So managing director of Real Jobs. Then we got hit with that P word, the pandemic.
Yeah, I remember it well.
The world stood still for a little bit, and we got around a table, a figurative table, more like a Zoom screen, and we were talking about other things that we could do. So we opened call centre. So Real Calling, so I was heavily involved in that to start with as well. And I suppose that the rest is a lot more recent history, but generally got a fair bit on my plate at any one time.
Yeah, you have, man. And you'll always hold a special place in my heart. You were the first person I dialogued when I went into training as well. You do remember, yeah. I had a bit of a wobble. It was going really well, and then I got to a point and I forgot what I was supposed to say. And I says, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And then this man here literally said, you can, that was brilliant. And like ever since then, I mean, that was 8 years ago, nearly 9 years ago now.
Really?
Yeah, it goes so quick, doesn't it?
Goodness me.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to do with you, Tom, you have a talent that you can pretty much make a dialogue out of any subject whatsoever. So I've taken the liberty.
You're going to put me on the spot here.
I'm going to put you right on the spot, yeah. So I have taken the liberty of choosing just 3 random subjects. One of them I've heard you do before, but then one of them's butterflies, the other one's pigeons, and the other one's English apples. So what I'm going to do is spin the wheel, whichever one it lands on. I want you to, the camera's there just for you. I want you to give a dialogue straight into that camera. So the butterflies. Right, so go for it, Tom.
Butterflies. Give me a second. Butterfly Foundation we'll have to go for. So, hi, how you doing today? You okay? Fantastic, good stuff. My name's Tom, here today on behalf of the Butterfly Foundation. We're running a campaign in the area, so if you've been out, you've probably seen us everywhere. It's nothing to be concerned about. Have you heard of the Butterfly Foundation before? You've never heard of us. Okay, so we're a UK-based charity whose main focus is focusing on the native species of butterflies, which unfortunately are dying out across our meadows and wild fields. Obviously, before I go on, I do need to let you know I'm a paid professional fundraiser working for Real here today on behalf of the Butterfly Foundation. But the last few years have seen a huge decrease in the native population of butterflies up and down the UK. Now, there's a number of factors that would go into this, everything from more advanced farming methods, pesticides, that type of thing, as well as things like climate change. Now, ultimately, every year on year, we're seeing a drastic decline, which unfortunately is having a massive impact on our natural wildlife as a whole, but primarily the butterflies that are native to these shores. So here at the Butterfly Foundation, our primary focus is to ensure that we can be there for these beautiful animals for as long as we're needed. So whether that's sowing new wild meadows or creating spaces for them, our focus is to ensure that we can rebuild those populations and be there for those wonderful creatures for as long as we're needed. And it will be down to us that the place in future generations where they'll be able to see these magnificent butterflies floating through the air on a summer's day. Now, obviously, all of that's fantastic, but we couldn't do what we do without people like you, people who see the value in what we do and want to be a part of it. So I'm here today to ask you to get behind our work and support the Butterfly Foundation with a regular donation of £10 a month. Can we get you on board?
Take my money. That was absolutely brilliant. I don't know how you do that. I can do it to a degree because I do this with other people, especially when people are saying to me, when I'm training people and they say about, oh, changing campaigns and I've never done this one before. And I said, it's just learn about the charity and then just give back what you feel about it, like showing that you care and being passionate about something. You just need to learn about it in the first place. Do you, so when you was working before, you said you was on doors, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, door-to-door has always been my preferred method of fundraising. I mean, I've done everything. So I've done telephone, I've done door, I've done private site, I've done a little bit of street. But
do you have a favourite?
I mean, door is my favourite for face-to-face, but again, telephone is also a massive favourite. You know, I spent 3 years doing telephone fundraising, and it was really where I learned the art of the dialogue, because telephone is very, very different because you have a printed, well, those days it was a printed piece of paper. It's probably on a screen now. But, you know, you have a script in front of you and you read from that script, and you had your sort of objection handling document if you needed to answer a question. Someone gives you an objection, you're busy hunting through it, but no one can see what's happening behind the scenes. Mm. So once you became familiar with that, you really allowed your kind of conscious mind to focus on the nuances of fundraising. So your tonal variation, the pace, the speed of delivery, the emphasis in the words. And I guess one of the reasons or one of the strengths that I brought with me to face was the fact that I developed that art over on telephone. And it was really combining my previous history of doing face-to-face sales, you know, the gas and electric and things like that. So it takes a lot of confidence to do face-to-face, but once you've mastered it, then it's great. But then also using the tonal variations and the skills I learned as a telephone fundraiser as well. But to answer your question, door-to-door would always be my favourite. You know, I suppose it's almost more of a sense of freedom just out there. Every door is different, every driveway is different, and you know, your mind is just absorbing all of this stuff to go with it each day when you're working.
It's like when, because I was never a door fundraiser. I was always a private site fundraiser until the pandemic. And I'll be honest, I was quite nervous about going into it, but I took to it quite well, and I loved it. And I could quite happily do doors now as well, to be honest. There's nothing more. It's a very different environment, isn't it? I remember I had this guy working with me, and he was like, "I've never done doors before. I don't really know, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "It's exactly the same. So just look at it as a private site, but you're just walking up to people instead of them walking past you." You know, and you knock on the door, and if they answer the door, then they've stopped. It's just transferring those kind of things. But I loved it. It was such a strange experience, but people was really receptive after the pandemic. I mean, nobody really knew what people's responses were going to be, the way things were in that time. But a lot of people that answered the door, they understood charities were struggling in that time. They knew we were there for a reason, and it was quite welcoming. And a lot of people just wanted to talk as well, because we're social creatures as humans, and being like locked in your own house, it's not healthy for anybody, is it?
No.
But I did enjoy the Zoom meetings that we did, the quizzes and all these other things that we were doing during lockdown. And you've been a big part of my career as well, Tom. You've always been there. Like if I've wanted a bit of advice or support or just to catch up or anything, you've always been there, and I've really appreciated that, man.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. So what's the plans from here then? So you're already a director right now. What's the plans for the future? Do you want to go into that? It's up to you.
I suppose you've always got to have plans for the future. And I think for myself, it's, you know, as much planning in my private life now as professional life, certainly. I've got a little one that you probably know about. He's 2 years old now, and it's really combining that sort of work-life balance much better. And again, Real's such a great place to be able to do that. The truth is, Dan, I absolutely love the charity sector. I love fundraising. I love training. I love all of the aspects that make our job, you know, what it is. And, you know, getting up each morning isn't a chore to go to work. And, you know, you're probably the same yourself. It
doesn't feel like a job.
No, it doesn't. It's very much a way of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, ultimately, it sounds so corny to say it, but you know that you've made some right decisions in your life when you don't wake up on a Monday morning and think, oh no, I've got to go to work. You know, it's really going through the motions, and there will always be challenges. You know, there'll be stressful times, there'll be difficult things that come up, and there will always be challenges, but it's about how you face those challenges, and knowing that you've got support behind you for one is absolutely critical. But, you know, taking those next steps is, it's always an adventure, I suppose, each and every week.
Well, this is the thing, innit? It's like, for people that aren't in the sector, they probably won't understand the fact that how much of an impact when you get into this line of work it has, not on your life, in a better way. You learn new skills. Your mindset changes. You're generally more positive, and it's addictive. And even like I've done it before. I remember when I was in roaming, and I took off 3 weeks for holiday to rest up. After a week and a half, I rang up and wanted to come back. I was ready because it just feels like this is my purpose. And I think most people that get into the charity sector, the fundraising industry, they get in for the same reason, which is they want to do good. They want to, they care. They want to make a difference. And then when you realize everything else that comes with that, it's like finding your calling. There's no other way to put it, really. And that's whether it's fundraising, managing, support, real calling, the people behind the scenes that make the things happen that we don't really need doing because we're on the field and we don't understand all that side of things. It's a family. And I think that's the reason why people stick around, because it's something that once you've done it, I think every other job's kind of ruined for you.
It's a strange way of looking at it, but you could very well be right. And you mentioned the word impact there. Absolutely. The impact that we make every single day, it's immeasurable. It's almost impossible to quantify the difference in the world that Real and other fundraising agencies make. You know, the charities that we represent, they simply could not do the work that they do without the funding in place to be able to do it. And that's our job. You know, so when there's a breakthrough in a cancer research, when there's, homeless statistics have come down, or a charity's made a particularly impactful, something happen. That's down to us and people like us. And, whether it's people dispatching materials from the office so that we can fundraise, or whether that's people making welcome calls, or people training fundraisers, or people out there on the field actually doing it. No, nothing would work without another component in place. And we will only work to the highest standards of REAL, as you know.
Yeah.
But it's really important that we do reflect on what a positive impact we make. And the fact that you said that, I snuck this in here before we started.
Okay.
There is, in fact,
Have you got me a present?
something there that's for you, Dan.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I genuinely don't know what this is.
No, he genuinely doesn't.
Okay. I hate knots. I've got bad eyesight. I can't see where. There we go. Right. Okay. Is it the picture of me and you? Is it
Not the picture of me and you, no.
No, that's at home, isn't
This
it?
is something you can be proud to put on your wall,
Okay.
because this is your Impact Award. So from 2024 and the beginning of this year, do you want to just read that number out, Dan?
Yeah. £492,660.
That is the impact that you have made. That's you. Through you and the companies that you've been working with over the last year and a bit. Now, if you turn around to any charity and say, we're going to give you almost £500,000,
Yeah.
how many young people is that going to pay for to go through, the support networks that they need if they're homeless or living in poverty? Or how much research would that pay for? That would bring forward the day when cancer is cured. Let's be really, really honest about it. So that's you, one individual. And when we multiply, yes, there's nobody else quite like you, but when we multiply that by all of the people working in the REAL ecosystem, that's the footprint that we make. That's the impact that we make. And that's the reason we each get up each morning and we do what we need to do. And we face the trials and tribulations of a day out on the field. Because genuinely, there are people still walking the earth today because of you and because you did that. So I'll give you a little round of applause, Dan.
Thank you. Oh, that means so much. I generally like this. I wasn't expecting this at all. This has kind of blown me away. This is going to be like a permanent fixture now. I'm going to put it just there. So every time the camera's on me, they can see how great I am. That's the plan. I'll tell you what, Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad you came on. And I do want to get you on again in the future because we could do other things as well. Like we could even work together in the training aspect as well to be able to speak on this. We'll see if Tim's not busy.
See if Tim's around.
Yeah, exactly. But Tom, thank you so much for coming, man. And no worries,
Absolute pleasure.
So thank you, everybody, for watching. My name is Dan Roberts. This has been Real Talk, and I'll catch you again on the next one.